You are what you eat,
shit,
man.
You're gonna.
Well, you're
gonna
eating
look like
death,
shit.
so
Yeah.
you become what you eat. And people didn't used to eat as much animals as they do
Well,
now.
plants. To be fair, plants are also living things. You have to, you know.
You have to kill them.
Yeah, you would. You know, it's weird saying that, but you would
They
have to,
they give
plants-
oxygen.
You
so.
would kill the
It's-
plant.
it's-
to
it's
eat
a-
it.
it's
As soon as you eat it, it's
Plants
gonna
are
die.
alive, but they're not sentient. They don't have
Right.
intelligence. They don't
Right,
feel
right.
pain. They don't feel
Right.
fear.
That you know, but plants actually communicate with one another too in the wild.
Right. They communicate the same way. Like
And in our we're humanizing it, right?
Mm.
So we're humanizing, saying, "Oh, they can't, you know, they can't communicate, or they don't have feelings." Like, it seems like that in our human brain, but what if we're wrong?
right.
I remember growing up, they were telling me dogs don't have everything they.
Signal lost.
You still have the
That's your
GPS
phone.
trying to
Your
get out?
GPS. But when I was growing up,
Wow,
No, not me.
Okay.
That's weird.
I guess.
that's
yeah.
me. There's no way.
When I was growing up, they would say dogs, animals didn't have souls. They couldn't feel, like make decisions.
Mm.
They couldn't communicate and talk to each other.
Right.
And now we find that whales, dolphins, they have a complex
Right,
language.
that's right.
They speak with one another. If anyone's a dog owner, when I finally owned, a couple of dogs,
Right.
I see that they communicate
Of course.
and they look at my body language to communicate. And they have certain barks too, where they could differentiate from a playful bark to a somebody's knocking on the door bark.
Right.
So there's different forms of pitch,
Right.
body language.
Right.
So plants, they give out, when they're in danger, there's certain plants that give out certain odors to warn the other plants around it. So that, in our human brain, we think, like just on the front cover, it doesn't look or move like us and speak like us. So
Right.
yeah, no. Like, so I don't know. I think as long as it responds to its environment, there's a chance, I think.
I get it.
You know?
But again, like you're talking about your dog, so you see the complexity of this animal that you were told doesn't communicate and doesn't do this and doesn't do that. I don't see how. And again, I'm not judging, but after I had a dog, I loved him to death. I was a terrible owner, but I loved him to death. And then I ended up getting 2 cats. I inherited them from my divorce with my ex.
Right.
And I feel like I almost credit it to my cats finally being pushed over the edge, because you realize that, this creature that's, supposed to be so simple and it shits in a box, and you realize there's so many levels of complexity and so many emotions and fear and pain
Love.
and love, and
They have capacity for all that.
But they express it because you could see it.
Right.
But what was explaining, like, we probably the plants or they probably express it, but we don't have the complexity or the knowledge to kind of see.
Right,
that.
because we're humanizing it.
right.
Like, how do we know for sure? That's what I'm saying.
Well, we don't know anything.
How do we know
plants
plants don't have
sure
eyes?
If I don't know about either, but how do we know for sure if we're pulling a root out, if we're cutting a fucking tree down, that the tree's not going, what the fuck?
We listen.
How do we know that?
We don't know anything for sure, but we do have science.
But then-
so
so
we know
yeah.
there's no central nervous system.
Right.
We know there's no
Okay.
core, there's no brain.
I'm not saying that they feel pain. What I'm
Right.
saying in terms of like physical pain, but in terms of survival, and they're
Right.
going like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is
But that's
this?
self-awareness. I listen. There's no way I can prove it, and there's no way we can say anything as a definite. I feel like plant organisms almost act like symbiotically with themselves. Like they all operate under one hive mind.
Then why? What I'm saying, like, what? Then why would a plant in the wild know that when a certain animal comes and eats it, it starts releasing odors and letting all the other plants know about it? That seems like it's communicating.
Well,
Animals do that, but they see like if a meerkat or a rabbit, if they're hanging out with their group and they see a hawk, they're gonna go, oh shit, look.
Well, this is becoming then a theological thing, because these I believe are things that the Creator, when He created life, engineered everything perfectly so that it would all grow where it's supposed to and the levels that it's supposed to. Right. Some of it's supposed to be eaten. The stuff that gets eaten, the other plants releases the odor to keep the rest from being ate, so that they can continue on. I don't necessarily think it's it's making a thought like this is how we're going to survive. It's just a matter of the mechanics of the way they function.
That's exactly goes back to my point. It's when I was raised, everyone's telling me animals are the same thing.
That they're like, yeah,
It's
machines.
just 100% instinct.
Yeah. Right.
And then as I got older, I realized, hell no, there's no way this is 100% instinct.
Right.
Right? They're saying that's just pure programming. There's no free will involved.
Right.
And now I'm hearing that same correlation, but with plants. People are backtracking on animals,
Right.
but they're saying that about plants now.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, what if we're wrong again?
Mm.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that plants conclusively have feelings and can speak and have eyes. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that I'm open
Right.
to things that I may not know and understand. That
Absolutely. That's
that
what you
it's
have
a
to.
strong possibility that I could be wrong here.
Well, in maybe 10 or 15 years, when artificial intelligence passes our own intelligence, that's going to be another thing